is there going to be RICO charges on Kiwanis members for colluding to send their money to the March of Dimes instead of the Red Cross? For God's name, if this is funny, Mr. Berman, I advise you to listen very carefully.
Mr. Traficant, the committee is not commenting on your demeanor, and I want you to stop commenting on the demeanor of the committee. You've done that several times. I've let it pass, but enough of that's enough. Now go on with your statement.
The nonverbal demeanor of a member of the committee has a reflection in the gallery's reflection on me, and I resent it. I expect to come out here to be expelled because I think Congress doesn't like difficult positions. But this committee has been made up of people who have some understanding of law enforcement and adjudicative proceedings. You didn't allow most of my witnesses that I didn't subpoena. The only subpoena witness you allowed was Detour. None of the tapes I gave you or transcripts I gave you were introduced as evidence in court. I was even prohibited from discussing a vendetta against me. I was able to present no defense. Now, this 2001 business with the indictment is a facade. When the government clearly stated they started their investigation in '96. Well, they started an investigation in '83 if you'd listened to Kirchhoff, as soon as I beat him in the RICO case. '96 through 2000 was Janet Reno. Mr. Detour alluded to the fact that Janet Reno's name was brought up and that I was a target of the administration. I've been the target of administration for a long time because I disagreed with President Clinton. I think he should have welcomed and urged the Congress to investigate that Chinese money. Now, I can't prove this, but it's evident that quite the contrary happened. And I was the only member that was brazenly outspoken because I thought I was a affront to America and endangered our future. And because of my big mouth, I have been targeted. But you know, when you put somebody in jail for the rest of their life, and he's a fellow member of Congress who has been targeted no less, you should have some evidence. Now, you can provide all the paper trail you want, and you can derive all the insinuation you want. And you can have people come in there and parade in there and say this was the reason and that was the reason. There are only several key witnesses in this case, and they'd have either lost their livelihood and freedom or their family. That's what I faced in Cleveland. Now, as prudent people that have an understanding of law enforcement, and let's assume that you have this crook and you really want to get him. You trying to tell me they couldn't get an admission? Now, the American people throughout the country are resonating disgust over these hearings because they watch television, they have wiretaps, video cameras, hidden microphones, a microphone that you could disguise in your ballpoint pen. They could pick up a conversation from 2,500 feet, but I was a quote-unquote touchy-feely guy. I had a super intellect and was so smart they'd never catch me. They're afraid to tape me. I might discover the tape. Come on. No FBI investigator out of 60 plus took the stand. Only a rookie who took so-called physical evidence to a lab that came out and said out of 1,000 documents, no prints. The judge almost swallowed her tongue when she heard that. The only IRS investigator wasn't an investigator. He simply took the numbers the prosecutor gave him, added them up, and said, I violated the law. I didn't even have a chance to cross-examine the investigators who brought my adversarial witnesses against me.